Started, okay? Question 5. The graph shows the function f. The graph of another function g is a straight line. Draw the graph of g on the diagram. First of all, what is a function, okay? A function is a rule where when you put in a number, a certain rule happens. So as an example, a function can be 2 times a number plus 3. This function will be written as f of x equals 2x plus 3. So does everybody get that? F of x equals 2x plus 3 means replace any x value you use, it gets multiplied by 2 and 3 is added onto it. As an example, if I wanted f of 3, so I'm saying x equals 3, all I have to do is replace in 3. I get 2 times 3 plus 3 equals 9. That corresponds to what's called a couple, which is 3, 9. That means I'll draw the point 3, 9. In this question, it doesn't tell us what the function is, but what it tells us is that when the input is minus 1, the output is minus 6. That means the point minus 1, minus 6. In the second one, it says g is a function. So what we're going to, what we have next, guys, is g of 3 equals 6. When the input is 3, the output is 6. Just as a general rule, guys, okay, they use the letters F, G and H, and beside F, G and H are usually a set of brackets. Whatever is inside the brackets is usually the input. Whatever it equals is the output. Okay? Output is the y value, input is the x value. Okay, draw these 2 points. We got 3, 6, which is 3 across, and 6 up, which is here. And we got minus 1, minus 6, which is down here. We join both points together, and we continue it on. Now, where do you think the graphs? That's the line drawn there, okay? Because it says that it's the function g is a straight line. It says it here. That's how I knew that I could draw a straight line between those 2 points. Yes, Sean. Right here. The input is 3, the output is 6. Yes. No, input is x, output is y. If I zone in on this again, the x, the x is, it is, but the y value can also be g of x. A y value can also be h of x. It depends on what letter they use on the question. Okay. So it can be f of x, g of x, or h of x. It doesn't matter. There are y values for actually y values for different functions. So see the way y equals f of x. That only works for the curve. So the y value is the f of x value. So that's for the curve only. But for the line, which is a completely separate drawing, the y value is the g of x value, because the line is completely separate to the curve. It's the same thing, except there's 2 curves instead of 1, or 2 drawings instead of 1. Now, guys, just when you see these type of questions, always remember the x value is what goes in the brackets, and the y value is what it equals. Is everybody right with that? Okay. Use the graphs to find the 2 values of x. It specifically wants x. It wants to know where g of x equals f of x. Where do they equal each other? Here and here. What are the x values for them? What's the x value here? No, that's the y value. 0 is the x value, and the x value for the other one? 5. So x equals 0, x equals 5 are the 2 x values where the 2 graphs are equal to each other. Okay, the next thing it asks me is the functions g and f are defined by g of x equals ax plus b. I know that g of x is what type of curve is it? What type of curve is g of x? It's a line. And because it's a line, it obeys the formula y equals mx plus c, which is on page 18 of your tables. Can anybody tell me what y equals mx plus c actually means? What's the m value? Slope is the m value. And what's the formula for the slope? y2 minus y1 over x1. Okay, let's start off with the slope then. I need 2 points. Can anybody get me 2 points on this graph? On the line, that is. We have 0 minus 3, don't we? Would you agree with that? We could also use this point here, couldn't we? 1, 0 is also on the line, yeah? So 0 minus 3 and 1, 0. How do I find the slope of that, guys? What do I need to label each point? One one's x1, y1, the other one? x2, y2. Now, what we're going to get is minus 3 minus 0 all over 0 minus 1. Put that into the calculator, and what you get? Plus 3. M equals 3. That's great, alright? So y equals 3x. What's the c value? Where it hits the y-axis? Where does it? What y value does it hit in the y-axis? Where does it hit the y-axis? See it there? Minus 3. 0 minus 3 is where it hits the y-axis. That means your c value is minus 3. So this function here, see ax plus b. ax plus b is actually 3x minus 3. Means the a value is 3, the b value is minus 3. If you're going to take one thing home today now, it'll be the next question I'm going to do. Okay, this is important. Okay, first of all, the f of x function is x squared. What does x squared mean in regards to shape? U-shaped or N-shaped? If it's a plus x squared, it's U-shaped. If it's a minus x squared, N-shaped. So we have a U-shaped graph, okay? Now, the problem with my U-shaped graph is I don't actually know the formula for it, okay? So how do I actually get the formula for it? And this works for every graph you'll ever see. What you do is you go up to the question, and you find the two places it hits the x-axis. Where does it hit the x-axis? Just did it there a second ago. And you tell me. And that's the x values, isn't it? X equals minus 1 and x equals 3. If you work backwards, you will actually find out what the equation of this graph is. So look at this. Work backwards means solve the equation backwards, if you will. Reform the equation. Okay? What's usually the step before that? Bracket x plus 1, bracket x minus 3. Multiply it back out. X squared minus 3x plus 1x and minus 3 equals 0. From where it hits the x-axis. Okay. Now, yeah, so it's x squared minus 2x minus 3. That's the equation of the quadratic, yeah? And that is actually your curve f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. If you were to check your calculator, guys, you could always just quickly table function it to check if you're correct or not. And what happens when you do this is you'll find out that it's the what is it? We start about minus 2, is it? Up to about 5. Look at the points I have here. Are they the same points as the points on your graph? 1 minus 4, 2 minus 3, 3, 0, 4, 5, 5, 12. They're exactly the same points. Okay. Just so here, guys, is I have two extra questions just to explain how to judge, basically how to judge graphs and how to remake their original formula. Okay. First thing you do is you decide on whether it's U-shaped or N-shaped. If it's U-shaped, it's x squared. If it's N-shaped, it's got to be minus x squared. Everybody happy with that starting off? Next thing, you locate the points where it crosses the x-axis. I have x equals minus 3, followed by x equals 4. Everybody right with that? I then write these two things down, and then I go backwards. Do you remember the way you usually solve a quadratic equation? You actually go backwards, okay? So I bring the 3 over to the other side, I have x plus 3 equals 0. I also get x minus 4 equals 0. Then I multiply these two numbers by each other, like so. And then I remake the original equation which is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 12 equals 0. I get x squared minus 1x minus 12 equals 0. Now, see the equals 0 part there? That's the y value was 0, wasn't it, at the start? Because that was minus 3, 0, and that there was 4, 0. So technically speaking, the equals 0 was stood for the y value. So your equation therefore is y equals x squared minus 1x minus 12. It can also be written as f of x equals x squared minus 1x minus 12. Now, the great thing about these questions is you can actually check your answer. So if I just go into my calculator and I just retype this in here, what should happen is I should end up with the same graph that I have over here. So I'll go from minus 4 all the way up to 5. Step 1. Are my points on the board the same as the points in the calculator? Minus 4, 8, roughly there. Minus 3, 0, there. Minus 2, minus 6, around there. Minus 1, minus 10, there. And finally, 0, minus 12, down here. You can see that's the same graph. Everybody right with that? Okay. Now, one more of these to do. Yeah? The N-shape one. I'll show you how to do that now. We'll do it now, okay? You do it in exactly the same manner, except there's one little change at the end, okay? You do x equals minus 1, x equals 5. Everybody right with that? Once you're done with that, what you next do is this. X plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 5 equals 0. You then multiply x plus 1 by x minus 5 equals 0. Now, we're going to end up with a U-shaped formula, but there's a quick fix on that. So it's x squared minus 5x plus 1x minus 5 equals 0. That gives me x squared minus 4x minus 5. Now, the problem with this graph here is that I actually have the upside down version of it. I have the version that goes this way and goes through it that way. So to reverse it, all I have to do is multiply both sides by minus 1 to change it into the minus x squared I was looking for. And that will be the function. Let's call it g of x. So what we have here is this, guys, okay? Another thing you gotta wonder about is we have this as an x squared function. I know it's an x squared function because it's U-shaped. I know the other one is minus x squared because it's n-shaped. That's a good start off, okay? Now once you do that, you go to the points at which it hits the axis. You have x equals minus 3, x equals 3. You then work your way backwards. You bring the 3 back where it came from. So you get x plus 3 equals 0, and you get x minus 3 equals 0. Then you go to the step that occurs before that. That's the x plus 3, which is this part here, and this part here being the x minus 3 equals 0. You then multiply them out, and you get x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 9 equals 0. The x's in the middle cancel. You get x squared minus 9. That is the function you were looking for. X squared minus 9. How many people got that? Great. Now, you go to the next one, and you see, okay, it's a minus x squared. But I'm going to do exactly the same thing. X equals 0, and x equals 5. Now, some people, I'll do it two different ways for you if that's alright. The first way I'll do it is like this. I'll just say x minus 5 equals 0, and then x equals 0. It's different than the last one because the x is on its own, while in the last one I had something beside it. But it still doesn't stop us from multiplying this one by that one. So it's x times x minus 5 equals 0. Multiply it out. It's x squared minus 5x. What's the problem with that answer? it's a U-shaped curve. We want an N-shaped curve, so we're going to multiply it by minus, and that there will be our answer. Okay? Everybody right with that? Yeah? Yeah, you can think of it like this, Dennis, if you want to, right? If you, I'm just going to make a quick adjustment on this one. Some of you might want to think of it like this. Some of you may want to bring the 0 over the other side and have it like x plus 0 equals 0. And then you can multiply x, then you just multiply it out normally anyway. X times x, x squared, x times minus 5, minus 5x. 0 times anything doesn't exist. So you can do it that way as well. I think most people are well used to doing it the first way, which would be that way there. But take your pick. Okay guys,